I've spent over 2 decades scouring the planet for adventure, the craziest extreme sports, and amazing cultures. Now I'm taking my love for travel and excitement and pairing it with passion for all things brewed, and I'm taking you with me. So grab a tasty beverage and strap in. Things are about to get wild. My name is Jeff Coxen. Welcome to the Brotherhood of Brew. Find yourself wandering through backcountry byways in the Cascade Mountains, you'll most likely wind up in Bend, Oregon. The heartbeat of the high desert with less than 100,000 people, Bend is the Pacific Wonderland's poster child. Prestigious views of glacier peaks to the rolling flats out east, Central Oregon has everything you want in an outdoor paradise. One thing is certain, this place is beautiful. It's also my hometown. I've lived here off and on my whole life. So many memories created here along with family and friends. I keep coming back. I've seen growth, change, and it go through just about every trend. One trend that has stuck around is brewing. Bend is known for having some of the best beer in the world, and I'm coming back to check a few out. But first, I'm going to go hang out with a buddy to see about some fish. Where are you taking me tomorrow?
We're going to head over the Crooked River.
Nice.
Just outside Bend, about a half hour, 45 minutes. Wild, scenic stretch of about 7 miles of really fun trout water.
Talk dirty to me.
I know, huh?
Is that out by Castle Rock?
Yeah, there's a campground called Castle Rock there. It's right below Prineville Reservoir. It's a little tailwater that's been fishing really good for the past few years. We get whitefish, a lot of rainbows in there, red sides. We got a little winkers, Mitch, man.
Is that what they're hitting on?
Yeah. Wintertime, it's there's not a lot of big bugs hatching. Usually about this time we start seeing squallows on the Deschutes, which are kind of a stonefly, smaller stonefly, a little bit smaller than those ones you were looking at over there.
Right. Yeah, I know I've been hearing a lot because I know the river's down right now, isn't it?
Yeah, it's down about 50, 60 CFS right now, so it's going to be shallow. The fish are going to kind of get piled up in pools, nice. So we'll be able to get into a few. We'll just look for sippers. And that's always a big thing when you go out there, is just slow down. Okay. Get to the water, look at it, see what the fish are doing, then fish where the fish are.
The Crooked River is a tributary of the Deschutes River that runs 125 miles of picturesque backdrops and world-class fly fishing. Holding native brown and red band trout below the dam, the Crooked attracts tons of people around the world that want to get their lines wet year-round. Gabe takes me to one of his favorite spots for a day of relaxation and stress relief. Whoa! Whoa! Don't buy the farm. Look at them all the way out there. Look at all those rising.
You want to cast down into them?
Yeah, let's do it to it. Gabe is the founder of a few local nonprofits that focus on getting people out to enjoy their public lands, as well as preserving them for the future generations.
You got to be patient, and you have to be willing to change up different presentations, try different flies, until you figure out exactly what they're eating. So you kind of become a pocket entomologist. You don't really have the same level of education as somebody that goes to college and studies bugs, but you also realize that they're eating something, and whatever you're throwing at them, whatever it's imitating, might not be the right fly for that particular time. And the behavior that we're seeing right now is them chasing a fly up from the bottom before it can get to the top, dry off its wings and fly away. That's a bend in a rod. That's what you're looking for when you come out to the Crooked.
A little bit.
Oh yeah, he's a good little fish too.
Man, look at the colors on that thing. It's a beautiful fish.
We'll see if he's one of our, oh, bastard. That's all right. We'll go down and get another one. It happens. I think the most rewarding thing that I do as the trout bus is probably when I get a chance to deal with kids. Right now, with all the things that are going on, politically, with guns, with the way the schools are being managed, everything else, there's certain life lessons that fly fishing can teach that a lot of people don't realize that they get taught when they, oh man, he busted me off. That they don't really realize, and here's a perfect lesson right here, that you learn when you learn how to fly fish. You gotta learn about patience, about problem solving, and ultimately about rejection. This, I'm going to look a little closer here. This is a native. You see that fin right there? This is a native fish. He's actually getting into spawning colors here. See how the white tips are on his fins? So he's a nice, beautiful, wild native fish, and he's going to go off and go breed and make more babies. So it's a beautiful little fish. All right, you're breaking down too far in your back cast.
Yeah.
Remember, stop at 1 o'clock.
Right.
And really give it a good, don't snap it, but just get it back there. And then stop at 10 o'clock and then let that tip fall a little bit. Oh, there's a fish.
Got it. Fish on.
Oh, nice fish.
Oh, come on,
strip him in. There you go, just strip them on in.
There we go.
Good tension.
Come on, buddy. Come.
So we're trying to have a moment there, and all of a
I
sudden
know,
you
right?
caught a fish. I mean,
he's like, I ain't having this culture talk, not in my river. In the heart of Bend, Oregon, stuffed inside an old Amco transmission plant, you'll find something more than just good beer. You'll find Crux Fermentation Project. Larry's an old school beer guy with a new school passion and way of thinking. For him, it's not about what the current fad is or the latest whimsical trends. It's about what tastes good and what works. And he's got it down to a science, a mathematical equation, if you will. One part different, one part experiment, and a whole lot of creativity, all mixed with an immense passion for everything beer.
Okay, so what do you want to see?
I guess we can just start with like this right here. Obviously, I imagine this is your staging area. So when you guys are done with it, this is what goes out to restaurants and everything else?
Or the pub. We've got 16 serving tanks here, so quite often you end up with a tank that's just not quite done, but you got to brew into it, just like that beer you just tasted.
Yeah, amazing.
You know, I want to move that now.
Yeah.
So I've got to move something out of the way. So there you go.
This comes here.
Yeah.
So now, you say it just goes to here? What's your process as far as selling? Because I know you have your own bottling. You do all that offsite, right?
Yeah. So we have
side.
a production facility across town. Do most of the bottling there, most of the canning, or all of the canning, and the things that we're going out with all the time. And so think of this place as a big experiment.
Gotcha.
Everything we do here is
project.
It's projects. It's all projects.
There's your standard tap houses, then there's Crux. You can't help but to be in awe as you walk through the door. You kind of get sucker punched in all 5 senses. When you turn that temperature down, that's a lot like cooking, where you do an ice bath to top it from cooking?
Yep.
Gotcha.
So it stops cooking. We've hit the amount of alcohol, the amount of residual sugars that's in the beer, and we just say stop. That's where we want to do it. The other thing we want to do is we want to coagulate a lot of protein. I'm sure you've heard of the New England IPAs. Mm-hmm. Okay, so one of the things they do is they do not coagulate the protein. They want to put the protein in the bottle or the can or the keg or whatever, so it ends up being a milkshake, a really, really cloudy type beer. Well, when you turn the cooling down on this and you settle it out, then you'll clarify the beer.
Gotcha.
So, we're more of a, we like to clarify the beer. I mean, we make the cloudy beers too. I mean, the one you just tasted, it's going to be pretty cloudy.
Yeah,
so,
that's an excellent taste.
Yeah.
Cool. Let's check out some more here.
So this is great. So I had built a brewery for Deschutes in Portland, and that was our pub there.
Yeah.
And so I knew a Japanese brewer. I used to buy a lot of beer, sell a lot of beer to Japan, and so I had ties to the country. And when I was building Deschutes, I called up and I said, "Hey, will you sell this?" Because I knew it was built for the Nagano Olympics.
Oh, wow!
This brew pub was, and after the Olympics, it didn't died. So anyway, so these tanks, the whole brew house was sitting unused for 5-6 years. I called him up and I said, "Hey, you interested in selling?" And he goes like, "Oh, no, Larry Sidor, no sell."
Yeah.
Great. And so when I started Crux, I called him up again. And he said, same thing, Larry Sidor, no sell. And I bought another complete brewery. I'm unloading it at my lunch break from Deschutes. And my phone rings, and I wasn't going to answer it, but I looked and it said Japan. Well, I better
never
answer.
know, right?
Yeah. Anyway, so he said, "Now I sell you my brewery." Awesome. And so then I bought it, and I told my partners, "Hey, I just bought a whole nother complete brewery." And they're going like, "No shit."
Yeah, that's awesome. So these are all from Nagano, huh?
Yeah. And
crazy.
so they're just
a lot of history.
Yeah, a lot of history, and they're just super high quality. Well, that's the thing. When we started Crux, what we wanted to do was have people, I went to so many breweries that the brewery, it was really a restaurant, and the brewery was in the back someplace. Yeah. And the beer just kind of was out there.
Yeah, it's on the menu.
Yeah. And so this is completely different. So the hop room is right over there, as you can see. So every time you open the door, the hop aroma will come out, and people just start going like, "What's that smell?" And when I'm brewing, I mean, the whole aroma of the brewery is in the restaurant.
Makes you want to buy more beer.
Yeah. So,
growing up in this area, obviously, you know, you have big players like the Shoots. And every time we drive over to the west side, you know, past the brewery, it always had that smell. It reminded me of tomato soup.
Yep.
And I would always go by, and I never really understood it until I started drinking. And once I started drinking, every time I drove by it now, instead of tomato soup, I thought of beer.
Yeah.
And it's funny how, you know, those two sit together, but it's,
So-
you don't miss it when you walk in, that's for sure.
So one of the epiphanies I had is that I worked at Olympia for 2 years, and then they sent me to brewing school in Chicago, and it was about a 3-month course at the time. And I took the course, everything was great. Came back to Olympia, and there was that smell again. And it's just like, oh man, I'm in heaven. This is great.
Right?
Yeah.
You always try to find it, you go into these places, you try to find a beer you can drink all year.
Yep.
Because I know you get summer shandies, and you get, you know, seasonal beers, you get the darker beers that are coming out in the winter, but there's, you know, you always try to find that one go-to where it's like, doesn't matter what time of year, like it's cold outside right now, you would think of drinking something that isn't heavy.
Yep.
And right now, I think if you're a brewery and you're not doing an IPA, you're probably not going to be around a lot.
Right.
Because that's 90% of what's out there. It's you know, the go-to right now.
But that's a great thing what we do here. You can go all the way from the Imperial barrel-aged stout to lagers, pilsners, and everything in between. You know, the way I tell it to people is that when I first started brewing, the flavor spectrum on beers in America were about like that. And wine was about like this. Now wine is like this, and beer you can't hold your arms out far enough. I mean, it's incredible.
Awesome.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
I mean, it is no better time to be a beer consumer in the history of the world than right now.
All right. The farmhouse. Ooh.
Cheers.
All right, cheers, gentlemen.
The other end of the spectrum here.
Ooh.
So not too many breweries do a Saison year-round. We have this one always in the bottle and on tap here.
I can't describe that taste. It's great. It's almost smoky.
Yeah, it's all about the yeast. I mean, you know, you've got all that contribution of flavor in beer.
Yeah.
And this is one where the yeast is doing a significant amount.
That's so unique. I've never had that before.
So there's unmalted wheat in there, malted wheat, obviously malted barley.
Right.
So actually, it's a pretty simplistic brew, and the complexity comes from the hops and from the yeast.
Oh my gosh, that's great. So 6.6 on this one. It's light.
Yeah, it's still not too crazy. Yeah, we make a 10% version as well. Yeah, barrel aged.
Barrel aged, right? Oh, I bet that's amazing.
Yeah, and this just won gold medal 2 nights ago at the Oregon Beer Awards. So I think it's the first medal it's won. Yeah. So pretty excited about that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Man, that is such a unique.
So do you like that?
I love it.
Oh,
That's
okay.
great.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that are put off by that yeast aroma, and I don't understand because I
don't. I'm hooked
love
now.
it.
Now you got me looking over. I'm going to be looking for Saison everywhere. That's great. Yeah, it's crazy to kind of put that like. Sometimes you'll run into those tastes that you can't put like a name to it.
Yeah,
but
think spicy,
so unique.
Thinks cloves, that kind of thing.
Yeah. And it's almost like a smoky barbecue at first, and then it just takes away.
So when is National Saison Day?
So Saison Day is going to be April 14th.
Oh, so it's coming up.
We're going to have other breweries come by with their Saisons and have a little party.
Right?
Yeah, a little celebration.
That's great. Yeah, well done on this, gentlemen. This is great.
How'd you like it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's an underappreciated style in this IPA world we live in.
Right? Yeah, it gets a little overwhelming sometimes.
See, I think it's a fantastic food beer.
It is.
You know, cheese, charcuterie.
Yeah.
I'm in heaven.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, that would be absolutely perfect. Now because Saison, that's French, right? Yeah.
Exactly.
So when did the U.S. start seeing these?
Oh, I think that probably they became somewhat popular 10 or 15 years ago. They've always kind of been around. You could always go to the Belgian section of a beer set. You could find one or two, and just lately, I mean, they're getting more popular, and I think we're starting to see some velocity on it.
That's great, because you always think France, you think wines and champagne.
Yeah.
You don't think beer.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever thought beer about France.
But the thing that's kind of cool about this is it was quite often brewed on the farm and brewed with this yeast culture.
Yeah.
And so this is a way they paid their farm hands. So you would, it would be harvest time, and so that's why they were using unmalted wheat, and that's how it came to be. Yeah.
We'll work for beer.
Right?
Yeah.
I'll work for beer.
Not a new concept.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. All right. God, this is great. When you arrive to Central Oregon, you can't help but to notice its sheer beauty. The picturesque backdrop of the Three Sisters, Broken Top, and Mount Bachelor, topped with a delicate blanket of fresh snow being illuminated by a high desert sunrise, kind of makes you think that you're in a coffee commercial, but I assure you, it's real. You can't help but to be in awe while strolling through the land of puffy jackets and ski shops. This morning we're headed to those mountains for a little white powder therapy, the legal kind.
You hit it perfectly. Great timing. For the last couple of days, we've had a storm cycle come through, and then it's just starting to open up. So up high, we've had like 40 inches of snow, which has been amazing. And kind of give you the experience of what it's like a little bit in one day. It's hard to do, but I think we had some fun and can go ride.
Right on, man. What got you into this?
Oh man, some of my earliest memories are on the front. My dad would put me right in front of him on the snowmobile. And he grew up doing it. My grandpa owned a dealership for a while, and then it was just something I've always been into, and I was like, man, I'm pretty good at this. And I loved it. I love spending time in the backcountry, so I just got really into it at a young age and decided, like, I want to do this professionally, or as professionally as I can. Opportunity to travel all over the world, but not far from where we are here is some great riding, and I still have my little secret pockets,
right,
kind of up by Mount Bachelor and stuff, some places that guys still don't really know about. But I just love to ride here at home, and it's fun to go away for a few months and then come back, and I get a little bit better, so I can go a few more places. And the terrain's always changing too, right, with snow conditions, and depending on the winter, it makes this place accessible or this place not accessible. So you kind of just deal with Mother Nature and go wherever you can.
Casey, I know you're out here on this new timber sled. Tell me a little bit about it.
Right on. This is the new Aero 120 timber sled kit, and it's got the upgraded Trio kit for the front forks, which helps stiffen up that front suspension, so you don't have to revalve your suspension.
Right.
You got your 120-inch track on the back, and it's just rides like a motorcycle.
So you basically have the best job in the world, because you get to come out here and do this for a living.
It is incredible.
Right?
Yes.
That's awesome. Tell me a little bit about what you do.
So I'm a district manager for Polaris Industries. So get out and show machines to people, talk to dealers, make sure that they're taken care of and all that. So yeah, it's a great industry.
All right, so I know you ride a Polaris, and this thing just looks killer. What made you choose this?
Well, this snowmobile is pretty specific to myself. Lots of custom parts on it, but the unit as itself, and the same unit you'll be riding today, the Polaris Axis is a very friendly snowmobiling technical terrain. So the trees and weaving in and out and kind of riding the deep snow, they've built an amazing snowmobile, and that's why I love it so much. It's very predictable, and it just does a great job for me.
So I know you do this a lot. What am I getting myself into?
Well, we're gonna find out, aren't we?
Right.
Well, it's gonna be fun. I love taking kind of first time guys into the backcountry on the new snowmobiles, and We're here at kind of Winoga Snow Park. We're pretty low. It's been snowing a bunch in the area, so we're gonna stay lower so we're not in the super deep snow. It'll be a little bit friendlier for you today, and you know, give you a backcountry experience and kind of show you my world.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm stoked, man. I'm glad we're doing this.
I'm excited to have you.
What are a couple tips for, you know, a new guy like myself?
I think the biggest thing when you get on the snowmobile is you can't fight it too much. You use the brake just as much as you use the throttle. A lot of guys get really excited on the gas, and that leads to issues. Yeah. And then the biggest thing is looking up. Just like you're going down the freeway and you feel like you're doing 40 miles an hour, the further ahead you can look up, the better everything's gonna go for you.
So like a bike.
Yeah, I promise your front bumper's not gonna fall off.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
No, I look forward to putting myself into a couple trees.
Yeah.
All right, let's do it.
Wonderful. Snowmobiling in the mountains is rough.
Yeah. I invited a couple friends to come try some beers with me at Crux. My longtime friend Sean Smith, a Bend native whom I used to canvass the local bar and car scenes with, and Jerry Bowman, the owner and operator of Whiskey Hill Jerky near Portland, Oregon in the small town of Hubbard. Brews are always better with friends, and I wanted to get their outsider perspective. All right, so Crux has this cool thing, this little game they play. It's called Dealer's Choice. So we've got one of them here. We don't know what it is. He's going to bring us two more, and we're going to hammer down on it.
Do we have to drink the whole thing?
It's a tough job. Somebody's going to do it.
Well,
there's the man.
Okay.
All
There is your cheat sheet as well.
right. Yes. All right.
Spin that maybe around.
Here we go.
Make a little triangle.
He's tall and got long arms. He'll live. All right, boys, let's see what we got here. All right, so the first one's a Pilsner. I'm a big fan of Pilsner here. So we got Crux Pils. All right, let's try it. Yep. That's what it says. All right, cheers, gentlemen. Cheers. That's terrible. I'm gonna have to try more.
I agree.
Not bad.
That's great. Nice, smooth.
Very smooth.
It says it's a new Old World Pilsner, 5.2. Biscuity. I love biscuits, man. Herbal, hint of lemon.
Can definitely taste the lemon.
Yeah, you can, man.
Or more of a citrus than a lemon, I guess.
Yeah, right. Almost borderline IPA, but not.
Exactly.
Right?
Without the extreme bite.
I concur.
Yeah. Must be terrible for you too.
Yeah, choking it down. No, that's,
All right.
That's a good beer.
That's good. This thing right here.
What's it on the scale of bitterness?
I do not know. Let's find out. Give me Mo, not just another IPA. All right, this is my neck of the woods here. Suggestions of mango, melon, pine, and berries. Cheers again. Cheers. Do it to it. Man, it smells fantastic.
That's the perfect
That's
IPA.
awesome.
Yep.
That's
Definitely.
That's awesome.
Super smooth.
God, their IPAs are crazy here. Yeah. They're so good. What's this one here? So this one's 6.2, so it's a little more than the Play Wave, but I mean you don't notice it. It's smooth all the way through.
Right. Doesn't have that hoppy bite like a lot of IPAs do.
It's good.
Heck yeah, man. How long you been making jerky?
I've been making it ourselves for about 7 years. We had marketing in and out of sales of jerky for about 20.
That's a long time.
So yeah, things have changed a lot over
You
the
guys
last
are-
20 years.
You guys are basically the only ones that I've noticed that really play a lot with wild game and it's kind of exotics. I mean, you have kangaroo. Nobody
Yeah,
has
we
that.
do kangaroo. We're one of the only ones.
Yeah.
Alligator.
Alligator.
Alligator's
Love me
cool.
some alligator, dude. Some alligator A2
Nice
face.
lean.
Alligator, buffalo, all that stuff. It's easy to work with because it's lean.
Yeah.
It's a good lean
Super
meat.
lean.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be the most protein packed meat.
Per
right?
ounce.
Per ounce.
Per
right?
ounce, yeah. It's a couple of grams more per ounce than
And like elk and bison, right? Because they're right up there.
more than beef. Beef's about 9 grams per ounce,
Is it?
and then bison's closer to 12.
Oh, is it like? Okay. 'Cause I know elk and bison are the leanest.
They're all,
right?
yeah, all
Elk
the game
is
meats are all
real
real lean.
Yeah. I know because I find myself adding a lot of like pork fat and stuff into my venison and my
If you're making sausage, you have to.
yeah, sausage and burgers. So the next one is, speaking of jerky, used to be an old jerky commercial with a guy riding a buffalo, wasn't there? Or maybe it wasn't a jerky. It was maybe you ever seen that on YouTube? That guy riding that buffalo just going crazy, dudes on the back of it.
I think it was a jerky commercial.
I don't remember what it is. I'm not gonna say the name of it, but I can't remember. I thought it was either jerky or beer, one of the two.
Or an energy drink.
Energy drink. Yeah, right? Right? No doubt. All right, let's dig into this one here. This is a PCT porter. So I'm guessing Pacific Crest Trail, I'm gonna guess?
Yeah.
All right, so it's a 5.5, robust, slightly roasty and chocolatey. All right, I dig it. High drinkability. Beer's already hitting me. I can't even read now. All right, cheers to this one. Porters, we're going to dark beer, gentlemen. Well, darker than the IPA anyways. Oh yeah, that's my jam right there. Hot damn, that is money.
Yep. That's
Chocolatey, almost had a little like coffeeness to it.
Exactly.
God, that's good.
And not just a coffeeness, it's like properly roasted coffee.
Right? Light.
Yeah. Kind of like a medium roast, maybe.
Right. Ooh, God, that's good.
Definitely delicious.
That is really good. So this is a barrel-aged Imperial Russian Stout.
That ought to do it.
11.5. Money!
Good night, Base.
So, notes of velvety chocolate, vanilla, and dried cherries. So, it's basically like a what would you say, almost a chocolate sundae or something.
Yeah, it sounds
right?
like a sleeping pill to me.
All right, cheers on the last one, gentlemen. Thanks for joining me.
I'll give you the bottoms up.
You smell the cherries. Woo!
That's a dangerous one.
That's good.
Moly.
You could actually pour that over ice cream.
Yes.
It tastes like a chocolate-covered cherry
It does, huh?
with whiskey.
The whiskey?
Exactly.
Dip one in whiskey.
Exactly.
I'm going to have to try
That
that
gives
next
me
time
an
I have it.
idea. I'm gonna make a jerky that tastes like that.
Do you do vegan jerky?
It's not possible.
Thank God. Right? Nobody wants vegan jerky.
But I have
I want extra gluten in my
converted.
food.
Yeah.
My jerky's been so good. I have converted vegans back
Right?
into eating beef. It is a
That's
true
great.
fact.
That's
It's a true
awesome.
fact. I haven't eaten beef in 14 years. Try this. Okay. I'll take 2
Oh, that's
bags.
excellent. That'd be like the best like, slogan, turning vegans back since 1995, You're right. Oh my gosh. That's
Kick
right.
the celery to the curb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great. No rabbit food here.
Yeah.
Oh, too much. Well, that's amazing, man. So what do you guys think is your favorite?
I'm gonna have to go with the tough love for me.
It's so hard not to just sit here and be like, I know it's aged, and that's like where my mindset is. They're just all so really good.
I have to pick one.
I'm gonna have to go with the upper left because I didn't expect it to be a darky IPA. You don't always think of IPA as dark. Right? It's super smooth. It's really good all the way through. Ah, that floral smell to it. Even switching over from something this strong and this sweet, this
This one's powerful. Very powerful. So
Damn, that's money,
very
dude.
addictive
That's
'cause it's
definitely a
so
slow
fun.
sipper.
and it's strong, right?
I might have to drive home.
That's one of those, you get that 22-ounce bottle in you and you're just like, whoa, wait a second.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's about the equivalent of a 6-pack plus.
Yeah, that's when you have one. I'll just have one.
Plan on sitting on the couch for a
Have
while.
140 of this. Yeah.
Damn, that's good. I like that,
Where you
man.
back? You're back to the left coast.
Yeah, upper left. That's just
Aroma.
that's terrible. Oh, so terrible. I'm gonna have to go get a bottle of that right now.
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen, let's get out of here.
I can't tell you wrong about that one.
All right, you know what would go great with this? I hear they have a badass grilled cheese here. Like so badass, they took it off the menu and there was riots outside. I think I need to try this.
Special request.
Right? Let's do it. I wanted a tattoo to remind me of how good I have it. Something I see every day that keeps pushing me to be good, to be the best version of me. To remind me of someone, my little bug. When you get a tattoo, you've got to trust who does it. You're letting somebody put a needle to your skin. Aaron has all of my trust. He's done my back piece, and even Sean, who was just drinking with me at Crux, has almost all his tattoos done by Aaron as well. He's an amazing artist. Honestly. Aaron, how long have you been tattooing now? It's been a while.
Yeah, 10 years. Going on 11 this summer.
That's crazy, man. Time flies so much.
Man, it's been crazy. It seems like I just started still.
I know, right? I know every time, it's funny every time I'm like looking in the mirror, sometimes I see my tattoo on my back, and I'm like, God, it has been so long. I remember when I was like, yeah, I'll come back up after I'm done in California and I'll go ahead and I finish that up. And then I started doing the math on the time. I'm like, holy cow.
Yeah, I was still apprenticing then.
You were still apprenticing?
Yeah, I wasn't even licensed yet.
Yeah.
That was, so it's been over 10,
yeah.
11 years.
Right? Yeah, we'll finish it one of these days. So how do you know Gabe?
Gabe?
Yeah, yeah.
Trout Bus Gabe. Oh my gosh.
Trout Bus Gabe, man.
Everyone knows Trout Bus Gabe. I met him through some mutual friends who work at Fly and Field, one of the shops in town. And then the first time that I hung out with him, all the boys were out there at WikiUp, and they're like, hey, like, come out. And it's like 9 o'clock at night, and I'm like, why are they texting me at like 9 o'clock at night? I'm like, you know what, probably gonna be a good time. So I like got in my car, like got out there, and they're all sitting around the fire, just like drinking whiskey, drinking beer, talking fishy stuff. And then they're like, you want some whiskey? And I was like,
no. Yeah.
Yes,
right.
yeah. So yeah, we just all hung out by the fire and drank, and then the next day we all fished WikiUp, and the water was super low because it was kind of like post-season, so we ended up just like bullshitting all day pretty much. And yeah, no, he's a good dude.
How long have you been fly fishing?
So I grew up gear fishing with my dad up until I was probably 19, and then I started fly fishing. And the second that I after you get past the initial like pissed off phase of like not being able to understand what you're doing.
Snapping flies off.
Yeah, snapping flies, like snapping rods in my case. After that, once it finally clicked and all the muscle memory fell into place, then there was just no going back. Like obsession is like, for lack of better words.
Yeah.
Yeah, I go out like 3, 4, 5 times a week.
That's sick.
What do you think?
I dig it, dude.
Does it look straight, looks centered?
Yeah.
Spelling's correct, everything?
Yeah, right? Cool. Yeah, that would be her fault if it wasn't.
Cool.
She's learning.
Let that dry for a minute, and we can get going.
Yeah, that's money.
It's a very bend tattoo to get to.
It's funny. I have a thing on my laptop that has a shirt that I like the actual. It has fir trees coming up from the bottom, and then we were thinking about doing something like that with the company, and then having like a logo on it or something like that. And I had it pulled up one time, and she's like, "Daddy, what is that? What kind of tree is that?" And I was like, "It's a fir tree." And she's like, "I want to draw it."
Nice.
This is a 4-year-old doing this.
That's
so
awesome.
She drew it her best. I started to write her name down for me, so she did this, and then her nickname is Bug, so she tried to do a little butterfly above her eye. So
cool.
That's what that's supposed to be.
Nice. Yeah, she got it.
Yeah, she killed it. And then, so it's cool, is doing this, her name in red, her favorite color is red. There's something to be said about having a daughter. Mine changed my life, gave me purpose and drive. She rotated the world I was living in and began to shift the way I thought about everything. As she gets older, I now realize that this tree is more than a picture we picked out together. It's a symbol of our growth and the proliferation of wisdom and love between us. I guess there's trends, big time, and because you'll see, I know what I'm seeing more now is a lot of smaller pieces, a lot of like flash. Is that I mean, it's always been there, but do you see it come and go? Yeah.
I think it's super dependent on like where you live too. Like I was saying earlier, Bend is a beautiful place. It's very scenic. So I find myself tattooing a lot of like mountain sceneries, trees, and even like wildlife animals. Even people that aren't from here. I'll tattoo people that have moved here from anywhere else in the country, and they end up getting like a tattoo of like the Three Sisters or something because it's such a beautiful view. You know?
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Or they weren't even here that long, but they just like they want to remember it or something. So I think for us here in Central Oregon, one of the trends is very specific to the area because of where we live.
Yeah.
Like I said, very scenic pieces, lots of mountains, trees, stuff like that. So I think that's one thing. But then there's the trends that are all over the world. A couple years ago was infinity symbols and little bird silhouettes. So we get all the trendy stuff that first time tattooers or first time people getting tattooed for the first time are gonna get simple little stuff that they see on Pinterest or whatever. Everybody gets that stuff, but it is kind of cool that we have kind of a trend here that is a little more specific to the area because of where we live. So that's kind of different. You don't see a ton of that stuff online.
Trends come and go. The fish bite some days, and others not as often. It's easy to take these things for granted and harder to stop in the moment and soak it all in. I miss Bend. It was my home for a long time, but life had other plans for me. I cherish times like these when I get to come back, see old friends, and make a few new ones. As for the brew, well, it's Brew Mecca. Some of the best beers in the world come out of Bend, Oregon. Is it the elevation, clear skies, or epic snow? It's probably the passion for life and freedom. I'll leave that for you to decide. What I do know is I'll keep coming back for it all. The brew, throwing a few flies in the water, carving out fresh powder on the mountain, and living life to the fullest. It's amazing to find how a liquid can bring communities together of all walks of life. Don't assume it'll always be here either. Take advantage of every minute and don't forget to drink up adventure. Cheers.